Okay, guys, so we're going to be reading this passage. It's called William Becknell and the Santa Fe Trail by Joy Adams. So if you notice, right, when I'm looking at my title, I hear the name William Becknell. So I'm like, I think that's probably going to be a person, and the Santa Fe Trail. So I'm thinking a trail is something like where you can walk or like a path that you could follow. And then in my photo or my illustration, I see a what? It's a map. Hopefully you said map too. So the map is showing us in that little red line, you can see the Santa Fe Trail, which I feel like is where William Becknell traveled. So let's read the passage to see who was William Becknell, what is the Santa Fe Trail, and then we're going to answer our questions about it. So follow along with me. I'm going to read. You put your finger under paragraph 1, and let's start. William Becknell was a trader and a trapper. He was born in Virginia in the late 1700s. As a young man, Becknell moved to Missouri in 1810. In Missouri, Becknell traded salt. His business wasn't very successful. So in the summer of 1821, he planned a trip west. Traveling on horseback, Becknell and his group hoped to trade horses and mules and trap animals. When the party started their trip, Spain owned New Mexico. The Spanish didn't allow traders from the United States to sell their goods there. As the party made its way, however, the Spanish lost control of New Mexico. Becknell heard this news and changed his plans. He headed straight to Santa Fe. There they traded their goods for silver dollars. About a year later, in May 1822, Becknell and his wagons left Missouri once again. This time, Becknell followed a dangerous route. First, he followed the Arkansas River to what is today Dodge City, Kansas. Then he traveled southwest to the Cimarron River. The party ran out of water and almost died, but Becknell pushed them on to the river. Finally, they reached Santa Fe. They had blazed a new trail. Becknell's route became known as the Santa Fe Trail. In 1825, it was marked as the main route to the southwest. This route was important to the growth of the United States. So I'm thinking this story I just read is all about how this person, William Becknell, how he traveled to Santa Fe. On his first trip, I found out that Spain owned New Mexico and he and his group weren't allowed to trade their goods there. But on their way, we found out that the Spanish lost control of New Mexico, so William Becknell and his group could go there, and they traded their goods and made lots of money. Then, on his second trip, is when Becknell created the Santa Fe Trail. Right? He was going on this dangerous route, and that took them past the Arkansas River to Kansas, to Dodge City in Kansas, and then he traveled on another river called the Cimarron River, and they almost died there, but they pushed on and they reached Santa Fe. And this new trail was created. And it was important because it helped the United States grow. So more people could travel to these new places where they weren't able to go before. So now I'm going to look at my questions. So first, I have a part A. So the question says, what important event happened soon after Becknell set off on his trip to the west? So my question word is what? And I'm looking for the event that happened soon after, right? So right after Becknell set off on his trip west. So I have to find where Becknell set off on his trip west and see what happened right after that. So let's go back into the text and find where he set off on his trip west. So let's see. So yeah, Becknell and his group, he planned a trip west. So there's my first event. And now I have to see what happened soon after, so like shortly after. So let's read. Traveling on horseback, Becknell and his group hoped to trade horses and mules and trap animals. When the party started their trip, Spain owned New Mexico. The Spanish didn't allow traders from the United States to sell their goods there. As the party made its way, however, the Spanish lost control of New Mexico. So I'm like thinking, what happened after he started his trip west? Well, when he first started his trip, Spain owned New Mexico, and he wasn't allowed to go there. But right after, on his way, then Spanish lost control of New Mexico, and so William Becknell was able to go there and trade his goods. So let's see which answer supports that. Looking at A. Becknell decided to trade horses instead of salt. Is that what he was doing? He was there to trade horses, but was that event after he set off? No, that happened before. That's what he was going there to do. So that he decided that before he left on his trip. So A, I would cross out because that can't be. Now B, the traders were told they couldn't go to Santa Fe. Was that after? Guys, no, I think I'm messing up. Hey guys, sorry about that. I had to consult with my other teachers just to make sure we're all on the same page about this, because sometimes, we get a little confused while we're reading, and that's okay. That's why we have people to collaborate with and bounce our ideas off of. So Ms. Cherry got herself together. We figured out that, okay, so we're talking about B. The traders were told they couldn't go to Santa Fe, which confused me for a second because I'm like, wait, yeah, that was part of what it said. But as I was looking back and thinking back, then I was like, did they just then get told they couldn't go to Santa Fe? No, they already knew that they weren't allowed to go to Santa Fe because Spain has owned New Mexico. So they knew that that wasn't allowed. That's not a new event that happened, right? It says when the party started their trip, Spain owned New Mexico. Like they already knew that. So I could eliminate B. B would be the one that I'd probably get tricked on thinking that was right after, but it's just giving me background information so I know. So B I would cross out. And then C, the Spanish lost their power in New Mexico. I'm pretty sure that's what it said, right? When they first started their trip, Spain owned New Mexico, and the Spanish didn't allow traders from the United States to sell their goods there. But the next event is as the party made its way, however, and something new is about to happen, the Spanish lost control of New Mexico. So now Spain doesn't control New Mexico anymore, so traders from the United States will now be allowed in there. So the Spanish lost their power in New Mexico. Did that happen after Becknell set off on his trip to the west? Yes, I'm pretty sure that is what happened. So then let me read my last one just to double check. Becknell's group ran out of water and almost died. Did that happen after his first trip when he set off west? No, that actually happened on his second trip west when he discovered the Santa Fe, or when he blazed the Santa Fe Trail. It said the party ran out of water and almost died. So that was a long time after he set out on his trip west. And the question says, what happened soon after? So my correct answer would be B. No, C. Sorry, guys. C is the correct answer that you should put. So now, on your book, it has the lines, has the paragraph, and you need to underline it. But if you're in your Google form, which is not right here, up here, if you're online on your Google form with me, right, you're up here, that's actually listed as multiple choice. So either way, whichever way you want to do it. The answer choices here are the same as this paragraph here. So you can underline it in your paragraph and then click the correct answer here too. So remember, it's part B, so it means it goes back to what I said in part A. So my answer in A was the Spanish lost their power in New Mexico. Which sentence from the text tells me that the Spanish lost their power? So I'm going to read them and see which detail here supports that answer. So the A is when the party started their trip, Spain owned New Mexico. Was that true? Yes. But does that tell me that Spain lost their power? No, that was when they had power. So I would say that that's not correct. Now I'm on to B. The Spanish didn't allow traders from the United States to sell their goods there. Again, true from the paragraph, but is that telling me that the Spanish lost their power? No, the Spanish didn't allow traders from the United States to sell their goods because the Spanish had the power. So that could not be correct. And I have C. As the party made its way, however, the Spanish lost control of New Mexico. Does lost control mean about the same thing as lost their power? You should be shaking your head or saying, yes, Ms. McSherry, it does mean the same thing. So I'm pretty sure the answer there will be C, but let me read the last one just in case. Becknell heard the news and changed his plans. Does that tell me that the Spanish lost their power? No, that's about Becknell and his specific plans of what he was going to do. So my answer will be C. So you can click that or underline that sentence in your paragraph. And then on our last question there, again on yours, if you're in your book, it would be the short response on the next page. But if you don't have, you could write it as a short response or you can click it on your quiz here. And this one, why was Becknell's second trip to Santa Fe an important historical event? So I got to go back in the text and look for why the second trip that Becknell took was important to our history, was an important event. So I'm going to go back into the text and see, and find William Becknell's second trip and why that was important. So I know the second trip is here at the end. So let's see, about a year later, in May 1822, Becknell and his wagons left Missouri once again. So again, is saying this is his second time. This time, Becknell followed a dangerous route. First, he followed the Arkansas River to what is today Dodge City, Kansas. Then he traveled southwest to the Cimarron River. The party ran out of water and almost died, but Becknell pushed them on to the river. Finally, they reached Santa Fe. They had blazed a new trail. Becknell's route became known as the Santa Fe Trail. In 1825, it was marked as the main route to the Southwest. This route was important to the growth of the United States. So I'm thinking, why is this route important? Well, first of all, right, it says he blazed a new trail, which means he found a new route that didn't exist before, right? And then, secondly, it became the main route to the Southwest, which means it is the route that most people would use to travel to the southwestern part of the United States. And thirdly, this route helped to grow the United States. The more people who could travel, right, from the eastern part on to the west, right, it helped the nation grow and more people could move to new places. So out of all of that, and you could write that on your sheet right here, on your in your book if you want to write it, or you hop over here to your quiz and then read your answers for the last choice. Why was Becknell's second trip to Santa Fe an important historical event? A. At the time, the Spanish didn't allow traders from the United States to sell their goods there. Nope, that was on his first trip, so I could cross that out. Becknell and his group traded their goods for silver dollars. Again, was that on his second trip or was that from his first trip? You're right. If you look back, that was also in his first trip. So again, this question is asking about the second trip, so that cannot be correct. And this time he followed a dangerous route. Was that his second trip? Yes, it was. But is that telling me why this trip was important? Is it important because it was dangerous? Maybe. But let's look at the last one. I think the last one might have more information. It's really not long enough on mine. So it says Becknell blazed a new trail that became known as the Santa Fe Trail, which was the main route to the Southwest. Is all of that the information that I read in the text? It sure is. So that will be the better choice than saying that it was important because it was a dangerous route. All right, guys. So now the last thing is for you to read the next text, Sacagawea's Journey into History, on your own and answer the rest of the questions. Remember, you can do it in your book, but then also come over and click your answers on the quiz so we, your teachers, can check your answers and give you some feedback. Okay, good job. Keep reading about time and sequence. and enjoy your little history lesson about Sacagawea.